everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series Transformers Bumblebee movie Deluxe Class ARCEE. Hands down, the most exciting figure to come out this wave, at least for me. And if I were to be completely honest, much like the previous figures that we took a look at towards the tail end of last year, the Bumblebee movie subline honestly is just killing it. I really hope that we can begin to see some concept characters, maybe a Cybertronian version of Optimus Prime, Sideswipe, and even Megatron, as I just do not want these figures to end at all. They're so well done, and in my opinion, this could potentially be the best ARCEE that we've ever seen from Hasbro and Takara. That includes the Masterpiece, the Earthrise version, and even the Thrilling 30 release that we saw way back in 2014, as this figure gets a lot of things done right. Many of those previous figures either lacked in articulation, or to be honest, just had really bad kibble management, whereas this figure, for the most part, I actually think does almost everything pretty damn well. Now, of course, we'll delve in and take a closer look at this fantastic design. What an incredible looking character, what a redesign as well. After seeing her make her live action debut in Revenge of the Fallen, it's safe to say that the Bumblebee movie design was certainly a breath of fresh air, and this is ARCEE down to a T. You can see that in regards to that head sculpt, just looking fantastic. The attention to detail truly is remarkable, and to be honest, these figures truly do feel as if though they're in a league of their own. You can see some incredible panel lining detailing going around the face piece. We do in fact actually get a lighter shade of pink, picking out some of the sharper details of the sculpt. If I were to be critical, it's that from certain angles, the eyes sadly do look slightly dead. It would have been nice to have maybe seen a lighter shade of blue used for those, but honestly, that is the only critique that I can find here for the face sculpt. You can see we've got these circular sections on the side of the head picked out in pink, and we even have the subtle detailing of an antenna there at the top. As we take a look here towards the chest, very feminine in design. I once again think they've done a fantastic job. You can see the cream white that we've got going on here, as well as that pink Autobot insignia, and as we just take a look here towards the neck region, you can see how that's been fully sculpted as well as decked out there in a very nice gunmetal grey. So we spin our attention down to the arms. These two are very thick, but once again, definitely have a feminine vibe to them. You can see some awesome sculpt work going on here for the forearms, and the finger detailing I actually don't think looks too bad at all. You can see some very nice sculpt work. The white that you're seeing on this figure is very similar to their B-movie Wheeljack in the sense that it's an almost off-white, which I actually really like the look of. You can see here for the thighs, very nice looking sculpt work, and of course, one of the major issues that tend to plague ARCEE figures would be the back kibble, but I've got to be honest and say I definitely think this is one of the best backs I've ever seen for an ARCEE release. This really does look fantastic, and depending on your preference, you can in fact actually splay the backpack open to create for an almost jetpack, or of course compress it for a slightly more movie accurate look. That is really nicely done, and even here on the side, we've got some fantastic looking sculpt work. As we spin our attention down here to the lower section, you can see here for the torso, really nice cream white paint apps, as well as some awesome gunmetal grey, and here for the thighs, incredibly thick and robust, much like Soundwave and some of the other Cybertronian characters. I think these have turned out so nicely with a really nice amount of sculpted in detailing, and you can see the elegancy to the shins. I love the knee design, as well as the overall foot design, and the wheel placement is just so well executed. I was quite unsure as to how they were in fact actually going to pull this off. It's a really nice design. You can see how we've got some fantastic sculpt work here on the outside, really nice metallic silver highlights here for the base of the foot, and you can see some fantastic mechanical detailing for the actual foot itself. So in all, as far as the design is concerned, I have no issue at all in saying that this is by far one of the best Bumblebee movie figures we've seen so far, and as many of you guys know, all of them have been astonishing. But it doesn't end there, where this figure, I personally believe, majorly shines when in comparison to some of the previous ARCEE releases would definitely be in regards to articulation. So here for the head, we have a fantastic ball joint which can look up all the way, which is so awesome. Of course, it can look down, tilt side to side slightly. We of course also do get a rotation here at the head, full rotation here at the shoulder on a ball joint, which can also hinge out to the sides, full rotation here at the bicep, as well as a double joint at the elbow due to transformation. We definitely don't tend to see that on ARCEE figures, I believe, besides the Masterpiece release. Sadly, no form of wrist rotation, although due to transformation, you can pivot this here forwards and backwards. I was very surprised to see that this figure does in fact have a completely unhindered waist joint. That is just so awesome. This can rotate the full 360, mainly due to transformation, but it's just such a nice piece of articulation. The legs here can kick forwards that far, which is a fantastic degree, as well as back to that far, hinge out to the side, rotation here at the thigh, a single joint here at the knee, which can bend to 90, and finally here for the foot, we do in fact actually get a fantastic ankle rocker pivot joint. So in all, I am just so blown away with this figure. She looks incredible, poses so nicely, and just in regards to a design, I cannot wait to see how she'll shape up in Transformers Rise of the Beast. You can even pull off that pose that we see in the movie where she's like, I've lost contact with the Capitol, and of course she's blasting away at the Decepticons. Now, in regards to weapons, we do in fact actually see 2 dual pistols. I believe she only utilized 1 in the movie, but due to transformation, they've decided to give her 2 to create the almost exhaust pipes for the bike mode. But you can see a pretty nice variety of sculpt work going on here. These 2 have also been cast out of gunmetal grey, and for whatever reason, if you didn't want them stored on the figure's hands, we can just take them to these sections here, and you'll notice we've got some tabs and slots. We can just peg them in there. However, personally, I'm not a huge fan of how that looks. And even the backpack as well, it's got a really nice range of articulation. We get a ball joint here at this section, as well as a hinge joint, of which, to be honest, you won't even utilize for transformation. And check out the sculpt work that we've actually got going on here for the interior of the arm. Overall, just such a fantastic looking figure. Turning to a live action movie ARCEE comparison, we've got the 2007 concept deluxe version on the left and the 2009 Studio Series Revenge of the Fallen version on the right. And as far as redesigns are concerned, at least in my personal opinion, of course opinions are subjective, I definitely think the version in the middle, the Studio Series B-movie version, is by far the best redesign. This is how the character, I'm pretty certain, will be how many of you guys remember her from the original G1 series. And as far as an almost movie-fied update goes, I really do think Travis Knight did a smashing job. Now, as we factor in scale, you can see of course she's significantly bigger than the 2009 version, as she really should be. But as we take a look here at how she stacks up when in comparison to the 2007 version, significantly shorter, but that's just what we've come to expect now with modern day deluxes. Overall, just such an awesome looking release. For some more in-depth quick comparisons, we've got Bumblebee movie ARCEE compared next to the Studio Series B movie Ratchet, Ironhide, Wheeljack, Brawn, Cliffjumper, Cybertronian Bumblebee, Bumblebee movie Deluxe Class Shatter, and finally Optimus Prime. And so, having pretty much covered everything here for the robot mode, I think it's pretty safe to say that hands down, this has got to be one of the best looking robot modes that we've ever seen for the Transformers Studio Series line. I'm just so impressed with how this figure's turned out, and the design in itself is truly just so awesome. So once again, it definitely cannot wait to see how she shapes up in Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Now, as we turn to transformation, much like some of the previous B-movie characters, Hasbro and Takara did fully incorporate a unique concept alt form, of which I actually think perfectly fits this character. So to begin with, you're going to want to come here down to the lower section, and for the legs, in robot mode, you are going to want to click them outwards. For bike mode, we're going to want to take this section and snap it inwards. You can't, in fact, actually lock these out for bot mode. As you can see, she will be at a slight angle, meaning that she's going to be leaning backwards, almost giving you Michael Jackson vibes there. So definitely ensure that you do detach that for robot mode, otherwise you're definitely going to have some stability issues. We're then going to want to turn our attention here to the inside of the leg, take the angle pivot joint, hinge this outwards like so, and you'll notice how the foot and the wheel is held on via this pin joint. So we're basically just going to want to pull this section forwards, rotate this here all the way around, and you'll notice how we've got this tab that will now peg into this slot. So just snap that in there and rotate that section there back into place. Really nice engineering where that's concerned, and the wheel does completely articulate here for bike mode, which is something I thought was so nicely done. Just come here to this side and of course repeat the same process. So hinge this pin joint out, rotate all the way around until that tab does snap there into place. We can then straighten out the knee joints. You could, if you really wanted to, peg the wheels together. However, personally, I like to leave that for later on, just as 9 times out of 10, they're more than likely going to become detached anyway. So just come here to the waist, rotate so that the front is now facing the back. We can then turn our attention here to the top and basically just detach this entire region here from the front breastplate. Just take these here, get those out of the way, and the amount of compression that actually goes on for this section is so impressive. So all of this here, you'll notice, does completely extend. So just take the head and the neck joint, lift this here up and over, and you'll notice how this here does completely extend out. We can then take the head and this will tuck into this cavity, and you'll notice how we've got 2 tabs here and here that will peg or slide underneath this section. So just snap that in there, snap that section there into place, and now this is personally where I would recommend actually tabbing these wheels together. So just align those up appropriately, give them there a nice squish. If I had any complaints in regards to the transformation, it would be that personally I find these to become detached really easily, although we'll delve more into that when we do in fact actually get her fully converted. You'll notice how we've got a couple of tabs here on the underside, so tabs here and here that will peg into the top section of her thighs, and then some smaller tabs here and here that will peg into the shins. So just bring all of this over, snap that there into place, come to this side, snap that section into place, and then just try your best to align all of this up appropriately and just snap that in there. so that we're left with something that looks along the lines of this. We can then rotate this kibble here out to the side. You're going to want to take this section. For robot mode, it was like this. For vehicle mode, you can see 2 slots here and here that will peg into these tabs. So just snap that in there. And in regards to the placement of the arms, for vehicle mode, you are going to want to bend here at this top joint and not the elbow joint. So bend there and bend at this joint. And you'll notice how she does in fact actually have a tab that will peg here onto this slot. So snap that in there. Come to this side, snap this section in, and you can see how we've got a tab that will peg here onto the outer section of the thigh. So just align that up, snap that into place. Of course, repeat the same process here for this side. Take the wrists, just hinge those inwards, and in regard to the pistols, you can effectively port them here into the hands, just like this, in order to create the almost exhaust pipes for her vehicle mode. Or how I personally like to display them is, you can see we've got those tabs that we looked at in robot mode, and we've got these slots. Personally, I like to tab these in here, just like so. And with all that being said, here we have the Transformers Bumblebee movie ARCEE fully transformed up into her super awesome Cybertronian bike mode. And in all honesty, for a vehicle of which never appeared in the movie, much like some of the previous characters that we've taken a look at over on the channel, I think this has turned out great. Definitely a more than suitable vehicle mode to accommodate the character of ARCEE. And as mentioned before, the transformation sequence, in my opinion, definitely takes essence from the Transformers Prime 2009 Revenge of the Fallen design where the bike is concerned, but in regards to the overall shape and silhouette, it really does harken back to her original Cybertronian vehicle mode that we saw from the G1 series, and the colour scheme is just fantastic. I may not have touched upon this in robot mode, but the shade of pink is just so nicely done. You can see we've got some awesome gunmetal silver highlights here for the side. That cream white stripe that we've got going along here looks awesome. You can see that very nicely done blue transparent cockpit, and surprisingly the paint that they've used here for this transparent piece actually doesn't look too bad when in comparison to the cast pink. You can see here for the front, we've got some nice G1-esque detailings, such as this cream section with the gunmetal over the top, and the wheels, very surprisingly, actually come together so nicely here for the bike form. So you can see how they combine to form this almost Tron Legacy-esque vehicle form. And then as we spin our attention here to the back, you can see how they've kind of molded over the top of the wheel just to make this here look slightly bigger, but it is merely just these 2 wheels that we've got going on here for the underside. And as we take a look towards the back, sadly, the only area of which I wish they kind of improved upon would be the placement of the hands. If they could have concealed these, maybe found a way to have tucked them into the forearms, I think overall it would have been an almost solid 10 out of 10 vehicle mode. But I do like how the pistols do almost become the exhaust pipes for this vehicle, and surprisingly, she does in fact actually roll pretty nicely, something of which I wasn't expecting at all, especially considering that these front wheels do become the heel spurs in robot mode. So in all, such an awesome vehicle, very slender and streamlined, and in my opinion, perfectly suits the character of ARCEE. And here for a very quick comparison, in vehicle mode you can see we've got ARCEE compared next to the Studio Series Brawn. So in vehicle form she is slightly bigger than Brawn, but that would be expected considering how small he is. And here she is alongside the Ratchet, or of course Ironhide mold, also from the Transformers Bumblebee movie subline. And so some final thoughts for this Transformers Studio Series Transformers Bumblebee movie Deluxe Class ARCEE. Hands down, this has got to be one of the most anticipated characters that personally I was hoping that Hasbro would do out of the entire Bumblebee movie cast. ARCEE has always had an incredibly distinctive design. She is one of the only live-action movie fembots that we've truly only ever seen. Elita 1 and Chromia never really got that much screen time in the Revenge of the Fallen movie, and nor truly did ARCEE, but of course she is the more popular out of the characters, so I was really looking forward to seeing as to what Hasbro and Sakara would come up with in regards to a Bumblebee movie figure, and it's safe to say that they have absolutely delivered. This could potentially be one of the best Studio Series B-movie characters that I think we've ever seen. In regards to robot mode, she looks almost identical to how she appeared on screen. It's actually quite freaky how accurate they got this figure, considering that she is only a deluxe. This is not a masterpiece figure, this is not a third-party offering, she is still only a deluxe figure, and she looks that good. I definitely think that in regards to articulation, Articulation, she's by far one of the best RC figures we've ever seen, at least where the deluxe price point is concerned. Of course, the masterpiece is going to be a little more articulated, but in regards to a design and the management of the kibble, hands down, I think this figure wins, even being a rival for that significantly more expensive MP offering. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below about this particular figure. I've seen many comments online stating that this is in fact the best movie RC or the best RC figure of all time, and to be completely honest, I would back that up 100%. This is definitely the best RC that personally I have ever experienced and actually had a hands-on experience with. I think it's a really nice figure. The articulation is great, the detail, the paint is awesome, the accessories are really nicely done, and the transformation does in fact actually have a fair bit of complexity to it, which is surprising, especially considering that she never transformed in the movie. I think the Cybertronian vehicle mode looks awesome, very, very similar in design to some of the other Cybertronian characters that we took a look at in that first B-movie wave, and overall she's just an almost solid 10 out of 10 figure. If you have to pick up one Studio Series release from this second wave of 2022 figures, it has got to be ARCEE, hands down. She's so well done. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below, not only about the figure, but of course what you guys thought of the review, and as always, I thank you all so much for watching. Until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.